Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jen's on the Reel. I'm Jen.
Welcome, and I'm Jen. And before we get too far, we have a very good topic for you guys today, but we need you guys to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And you can...
And TikTok.
And TikTok, that's right, TikTok. I removed Spotify, guys. Nobody's watching Spotify.
You always forget the tick and the talk.
I know. But today we have a very interesting topic, that Jen brought to my attention, and
it's always my fault.
It's always your fault. And it's basically women are now planning to have their first child at 40 and over.
Right. Or multiple. But the whole point is that women are having babies a lot later in life, and not like a little bit later, like a lot later. Because I had my son at 27, and that was late back then.
Yeah.
That was like, oh my God.
Well, if you think about 40s, would you consider 40-year-old, like let's say 40 to put like an exact number, would you consider 40 to be half of your life or almost half of your life?
Well, no, I think 40 is most people's half of their lives.
Right.
Because people think half your life is 50, but that's if you live to 100. And most people don't.
Most people don't.
More people, I think, now are living to 100. But most people, I know people that die in their 70s. So they're saying...
And in their 50s.
Right. So the most common age is always between like 75 and 85, 90. So you're not... So
it's not even, it's
halfway.
more than half. Yeah. It's more than halfway. And
a lot of people die, if you're not healthy, a lot of people could die in their 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. Or earlier, and even in their 40s for that matter,
there's the widow maker.
The widowmaker, yeah. For
I would say the widow killer, but no one's killing the widow.
No. And it's interesting that we're going through this process because there has been, there's a lot of promotion right now to the people that are younger to wait to have children, live your life, go to college.
I mean, that depends who you ask.
Yeah.
Because if they were to tell me, oh, should I wait? I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah.
Because, I don't think so. Back in my day, I think I was commenting to you, a lot of my friends, most of my friends had kids really early on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about like 18, 19 years old.
I was 21 with my first child.
But obviously they got knocked up. They didn't have that back then. The morning after pill didn't exist, which is maybe why a lot of people had kids younger. Even though before that, way before that, remember people were having kids even way younger.
15, 16.
You know what I mean? But it's like has generations on. We're getting older and older. Now, do I think people should be having kids at 19, 20 years old? No. But I feel like I had my son at 27. I think it's a great age. And I think anywhere between, I feel like your early 20s, you're still trying to figure things out. What are you going to do with your life? I get it, you need a career, whatever. But you have your kids maybe between 27 and early 30s, mid 30s, you're still good. But I'm not going to lie. At one point, I wanted another kid. And my cutoff was 40 years old.
You see.
And I'm not going to lie. God knows what he does. And I'm kind of happy right now that didn't happen.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because right now you'd think, them doing their life and during their career and all that stuff, that's going to push into like a much later time frame, but it really doesn't. The way things are about in education right now, children are walking out of high school with an associate's degree and stuff like that. Yeah. There's so many other options in other countries that they can go to complete long careers in a shorter time frame. And so, which means that half in between their, mid-20s, and a little late 20s, they're pretty much done with their educational aspect of their career. One of those, those who do the longer careers like doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. And I know they have to start the career at that time frame. They finish the education, they got to start. But I think it's still pretty safe to say that you can manage even after starting.
I mean, people have been managing it for years.
Exactly.
Like, it's funny because sometimes I hear like younger parents, like young parents now, they're like, oh, imagine I have to take them to daycare. I'm like, yeah, so did I. And then I have to rush from work to pick them up. I'm like, yeah, so did I. And so did my mom. Yeah. And that's normal. I just feel that people are like, oh, but I don't want to go through all that trouble.
Well, that's what it is. And I think it may have a lot to do with the fact that they're very comfortable. They have absolutely no struggles. Back then, you would have people having children so that they can manage the farms because they needed more manpower, right?
Yeah, that was way back before my time.
Way back when.
Before my time.
And even during the wars and stuff like that, they needed people,
Right.
So you have stuff like that, but we no longer have any of those issues. And people are more focused on themselves and their individuality, and they don't want to struggle at all. At all. They don't want any repercussions.
No,
whatsoever.
they don't want to struggle at all.
God forbid they have a child that is their mini them that they could love forever, but now they have to take care of that. But they will take care of a dog.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that. It's funny. They won't have kids, but they'll have 2 and 3 dogs.
Which require more attention.
Yeah, because guess what? Kids, they grow up and they leave.
Yes. And sometimes they help you.
Dogs, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Not stuck.
They have a limited lifespan.
Right. They do have a limited lifespan, but still.
Yeah.
Most likely you're going to get another one after that.
Exactly.
But I mean, with the kids, eventually they eat by themselves. You can send them to go get milk.
They drive. They can do your chores.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I mean, there's other advantages of having these little fuckers,
You're right. Okay. So at 40, starting, I feel like it's a little late for many reasons. I feel like at 40, I'm sorry, I'm going to be 40 this year, and I don't see myself having to raise a new child,
That's because you have children now.
Well, I have children. This is true. But I also think about my energy level, because I can compare my energy level back then to now and think, God, I was so willing. Now you bring me a little child. I get my nephew every once in a while, and I'm like, oh, this is they need a lot of my attention. My attention is limited.
Not only that, this is the way I also see it. Like, the energy level, I don't know. I'm pretty energetic. I could probably handle a kid.
You're a freaking anomaly.
I could probably handle a kid at this age.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know what I mean? But I feel also it's like, okay, so my son, I was 43 when he graduated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was actually commenting this to one of my cousins the other day. Like, my grandmother died at 93. She lived a long life.
Yeah.
She died at 93. She had a great grandson that was 23 when she passed away.
Oh my.
So she was able not only to see her grandchildren grow up, but she actually saw her grandchildren have children.
Yeah.
Which I think, wow.
That's phenomenal.
Because you don't really get that often. So that's like a pro, and I think about it. You have a kid when you're 40. When the kid is 20, you're 60. Like, that's
they're
that was
fear that you're not going to be in their life, and they're still not developed.
You're a grandmother age when your kid graduates. Because when my son was graduating, my mom was like 60 something.
Yeah. So she's there. I mean, it's happening to.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, look, I had thought about having a kid in my 40s because at the time I was with somebody that didn't have kids, and he wanted a kid, and I was like, I didn't want to leave my son alone because I always wanted to have more kids, but I didn't because I had my son, and then I had 2 miscarriages after that. Yeah. And then I remember I was going to go for one more, and then I got an ectopic pregnancy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then I was like, and I'm not going to lie, like I said, God knows what he does. I'm happy things worked out the way it did. Because literally I'd have like a 12-year-old right now.
Yeah.
And you know me, I love to travel. I love to do this. That's another
so
thing. I don't want to travel because there's certain things well, maybe I will do it. But there's certain things
you can travel with your child, but
right, but
you
can't you can't travel when you're people always want to travel when they retire.
Yeah.
But seriously, you're going to travel when you're like 65, 70, and then you can't go up the stairs or climb this or climb that. Like, you know me, I like to climb stuff and go upstairs. And, I like to be adventurous.
You're like 30 by heart.
Yeah, by heart. Well, I don't know about 30. My body doesn't seem to think so. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Yes, you get to travel with your children, which is amazing because traveling with your children is great. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like everything in life has pros and cons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think that having children, for one, if you have just one child, it's very difficult because they sort of end up alone after you leave.
Yeah, it sucks. I didn't want to leave him alone.
Nowadays, you have blended families, so they end up loving, each other equally in many cases. Some cases not. But definitely that community, I guess, in family is there. But one of the other fears, aside from being able to do it and all those things, is at 40, we actually run the risk of having children that have more genetic defects.
Yeah, I was going to actually go there. I go, besides all this, there's the other fear, which I think is a bigger fear.
And I'm definitely, I'm not necessarily pro-abortion at its full capacity. I guess how they're trying to put it out right now. But I know that in certain circumstances, I would probably have an open mind to something like that. And
I have an open mind to abortion. I don't think that people should be having abortion at 7 months. Like, I have a limit. You know what I mean? There's a limit, and there's certain. And like I always say, there's always exceptions to the rules. Because you know what I mean? Like I've always said, I go, no, I don't think anybody should be having an abortion at 6, 7, 8 months. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, there's some circumstances. If you got raped, like there's a lot of things that
there are certain things that could,
that could constitute like, okay, yes. Granted, it shouldn't take you 6 months to decide whether or not you want to have an abortion or not.
Or 3.
Right.
Like at this, you find out within a month.
But I remember, I think they still do this. Like if you're over 35, they do like that test.
A test, yeah. But it's for Down syndrome.
But it's for Down syndrome.
Yeah. And the other day I saw a post of a family who, I don't remember the name of the family, but they basically aborted the child because they had a risk of Down syndrome. Like
but was it like a high risk?
Well, positive. It was positive.
The kid was going to be.
Yeah, it was
and
positive.
And they aborted it.
And they aborted the child. So those are things that I guess women in their 40s also have to consider, because even
it's a fear.
Yeah, I will say that there is a higher percentage of people right now having children in their late 30s, early 40s, but there's also a higher percentage of children that have autism nowadays, since that's been happening.
Right. But I don't know if necessarily autism is caused by the age you have the child. I mean, maybe, I don't know. They're still researching a lot of stuff. They're thinking, some people are saying some vaccines have to do with it. There's screen time. There could be a number of things.
All the stuff that we're exposed to potentially.
Yeah, there could be a number of things.
And there's so many.
But I don't think there's any way for you to detect if your child's going to be autistic, because you can't even detect if your child's autistic until like they're almost 3, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
at birth you don't.
And not only that, autism, like we had said, it's a spectrum.
Yeah. There's too many versions of them.
I know people who have autistic kids and their kids live a normal life and, they're normal, like, and they do things like me and you, that they don't have like, no setbacks. Then there's some that it's for life. You know what I mean? But it's a danger. I mean, it's a danger. And also, like, there's a cycle of life. Like, as you get older, who's going to take care of you and this and that. And there's that too.
Listen, this is a completely different topic, but nowadays, our own children would more than likely not take care of us later on.
Yeah, put our asses in a home.
The problem with that is that they're not producing enough in order for Medicare to be funded, and therefore we, in our time, if they decide not to take care of us, which they might be forced to regardless.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have the,
So it's funny. Okay.
If they don't fix things.
So I'm wondering, so people, because I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because, okay, maybe people are like, oh, but I want to live my life, get my career, have money, have my little mansion or whatever, and then have my kids. And they could travel and do everything like flipped.
Yeah.
So that could, it depends on
what your plan is.
What your plan is. Also, I'm thinking if I know I'm going to have kids when I'm older because I want to do this and I want to do that and I don't care, I'll do all the traveling now and everything. And then when I get older, I'll dedicate to my son. I would freeze my eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that too.
But then the sperm would have to be a young sperm.
But, fortunately, you can choose that now. You can certainly choose that. There's another topic to that too, because I actually have my brother's girlfriend works at a sperm bank.
Oh yeah.
And she's like the scientist there. So there's like the stories I'm hearing of what's happening there and what's accepted. And like in Australia, the only type of men that are allowed to donate. Yeah, like stuff like that. That's like another another
That's
thing.
a whole other episode.
But those are definitely options. You can certainly choose who the father is. And you know what the genes are going to be like. And, you know, I guess if you freeze your eggs, you probably have better chances because then they're like fresher.
And then I wonder, maybe they're like, I don't want kids. And then all of a sudden 40 rolls around
and now
they want kids.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because they're saying
so
that
much
women
harder.
are hitting perimenopause earlier in life.
Yes, at 35 is where it starts.
So it's like you run also the risk of that, even though there's menopause babies all the time.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, and then I'm not going to lie. There's days that I feel these people are like children. They're a little overrated.
You think so?
You know, I'm gonna play the other side. They're overrated. They spend your money. They don't appreciate anything. You know, they get to that age, they just want to slap them around a little bit because they know everything. You know, and then they grow out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I still enjoy every process. I think you just have to have
you're not there yet.
No, I listen.
Well, you got girls.
Yeah, they're there for sure. It's just I enjoy every moment that they can do stuff as long as they understand where it's coming from, and you know they are more. I mean, regardless, they're not gonna know what struggle is, regardless. You know, but a child at 40, to kind of close this up a little bit, you know, a child at 40, yes, you might have risks. Some people are choosing to do this later on because they've already completed their life. Now they need some more significance in their life, probably. I don't know. It could be a relationship. It could be anything. Yeah. You know, and unfortunately, you do run certain risks in having the child that late. But if that's what you want.
What I was going to add is that you never regret having kids.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure. You never regret them, no matter what age, you know. Whether you got knocked up at 19 or at 40.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people that have had children that have even autism and Down syndrome, they tend to love their children so much more, you know, because the child is just, you know, it's
needy.
like your everything,
and
you know, that's all
you
you focus on, you know? And so, you know, if you're 40 and you're looking to have a child during this time or older than 40, you know, just make sure you know, check your boxes and your health is fine and you're able to manage it. And I will say you're never going to be ready.
You're never going to be ready. So it doesn't even matter. Like, I think maybe a lot of people wait to be ready and that's why they take so long. But the truth is, you're never ready.
No, you're not. And every child is different. Every situation is different. You'll figure it out, but there'll always be love behind it as long as you maintain that and don't regret it.
Yeah.
You know,
and I feel like most people had kids so early because they got knocked up and we didn't have plan B. So just stay away from the plan B.
Yeah.
Let God send him when he wants to send him or her.
Exactly. I mean, listen, out of so many millions of sperms, if you get that one, they're probably meant to be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you listening. And if you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. Follow us on all platforms.
And comment and let us know if you are having kids late. Why? We'd love to know. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. I mean, early, late, at least you're having them.
Everything has their pros and cons. So let us know where you are in your life, what you think about it. And are you starting now? Why? And what do you feel about it? What are you afraid of? And we look forward to seeing your comments and talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's go.